All right. I thought that was pretty interesting and good myself. I I only sort of scanned through it when I was doing the transcript, and I had some questions in my mind, but I think they discussed pretty much all the questions you could that I thought of. What did you guys think of that? Peter?
Yeah, there's just too much to discuss in that. But one thing that did catch me is those analogies that they both made to, well, David did anyway, to mass and charge. He says, you know what? He knows what they do and how they react, but he can't explain what they are.
Which is essential constituents of.
I just found that a very interesting analogy, because I found that, yeah, I thought he explained that very well in terms of the consciousness. He knows what consciousness does, but he doesn't know what it is. I thought that boiled down the whole thing.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff that they didn't talk about, which is a lot of it's been spoken of, particularly recently. I just, again, I've seen the headlines. I haven't gone into the articles and so on, but there's been talk of proof that there are quantum processes in the brain. So how does that work, and how does that affect consciousness? And is that perhaps a big component that none of these people have been looking at? And how does memory itself fit into the picture? Why is nobody doing work on how memory is actually stored in the brain or in the body, wherever it's stored? You know, I've always had this theory that there are certain, animals and people inherit certain behaviors, personalities, instincts. To me, and in a bird, a weaver bird, for example, that when it becomes mature, it wants to go and make a nest, and it weaves it out of grass and stuff in a very specific pattern and way. And that, to me, I had one as a pet, which I picked up when it was a baby bird with no feathers, and it grew up to be an adult bird and started weaving, and it's never been in contact with any other finches. So it was never taught in any way how to do it. It must have inherited the knowledge of how to do that. And to me, inherited knowledge is inherited memory. So what is the unit of inheritance? It's the gene, it's DNA. So how is DNA linked to memory? So all of this has an effect on consciousness. There are many, many complex aspects to this whole subject which they don't discuss. So Peter, I think your mic is muted. Peter, your mic is off. Peter, your mic is muted.
Sorry, Derek,
Yeah,
I missed that. I was distracted there.
So it looked like you were trying to say something, but your mic was muted.
Yes, sorry. No, I wasn't trying to say so. It was Barbara in here. We've got a bit of a problem with this lack of electricity, and worrying that the battery's going to go down. So she's come through to use my gas. Anyway, so that's it.
All right. Okay, yeah. So I think there's a lot of things that they didn't touch on, like quantum effects in the brain. I like, again, with the analogy, I like that one of what's the explanation for mass. Again, to me, that one is there are very, very fundamental properties which cause mass. To me, everything has got to come from something very fundamental, which we've just got to figure out what it is. Then we will understand it. But it's just too tiny and too difficult for us to do right now. Maybe in a million years or so, somebody would have worked it out if humanity is still around, or somebody else, whatever else there is. Dolphins take over, or whoever takes over from humans. So yeah, to me it was an interesting discussion, but I think there was a lot they could have said that they didn't say.
There's a lot they didn't cover. I mean, you can't cover everything on
Yeah.
such a huge subject that
Yeah.
to try and cover that everything in 45 minutes. I thought they did damn well to cover what they did.
So comments?
Yeah, I think the focus of the interview was from a social point of view and the social impact, more than from a scientific point of view. What
Yeah.
I found interesting is that there's no scientific answer. There's no mathematical model to predict consciousness or even feeling. And there was no alluding to a different plane, like astral traveling, for instance, which is something that's very controversial in our conscious perception of things around us that we recognize.
Yeah.
There's
Oh, there's a lot of mysteries. I mean, it's like sixth sense and so on. There's definite evidence of sixth sense in animals even. There's some scientific evidence of that. There's something we just don't have an explanation for. I mean, how does all that fit into the picture?
I find it something else I wanted to say. What is very interesting is if you start crossing over different sciences, for instance, music and color, or music and feeling, or going into neuro-linguistic programming, for instance, that starts to touch on exact sciences and abstract sciences, the way we know abstract sciences that we can't define in concrete terms. I came across an interesting term a few weeks ago, forensic linguistics. So
yeah,
that's also taking two different, like, opposing conflicts and joining them and making a science of it and giving it a real meaning in beyond auditing, but how language.
So what does the term forensic linguistics mean? Are people analyzing the way people talk and deducing stuff from that about crimes or something? I don't know.
Hate speech.
Oh yeah.
Using language for whatever wrong or right reasons, and then having to analyze that afterwards. And I guess all these things have a legal effect as well. Never mind the copyright, which is interesting in terms of AI, but can you sue somebody for what was said? And then I'm going back to the debate of consciousness. Whatever is defined, there will be legal implications that are going to keep many lawyers happy for years to come.
Yeah. Yeah, I've in our property business, our property manager, has got a brother who's a highfalutin lawyer working in New Zealand for many years now, and he was at some conference where they were discussing, I don't know, some legal topic, and somebody stood up and said, "Oh well, there's this paper that was written about this topic. The authors are this." And he named two authors, but now this guy, brother of this guy of ours, happened to be named as the author of this publication, legal publication. But he had never written it. His AI had written the article and attached his name to it as being an authority on the subject. So you've got to be very, very careful of AI. And the other thing I thought that these people were dancing around, I thought, were they talking about consciousness? They mentioned soul at one stage. And are they really trying to say there is a soul or there isn't, something which is not linked to matter, which is an essential part of a person? So, yeah, I thought that was, maybe that's what, to me, I don't have a problem with consciousness. I think it's just what that one guy, Anil, was saying. It's a process. It's human beings learn stuff, they have knowledge, they use that knowledge to interpret stuff and run their lives. To me, it's like it's a computer program. That's what we are. We're a computer with a program. It's very, very complex. It's probably too complex for us to copy it exactly as it is. It is too complex. AI sort of approximates it in a way. What is AI? AI has taken a whole lot of knowledge and they've written a program which has learned what the common answers are to common questions and just repeats them. That's all AI is. So, yeah.
So it was just touched on about the moral, the ethical dimension in your life. What about love and feeling? Is that part of consciousness, or does it flow from consciousness?
Yeah, it's a biological process which is interlinked to everything. So, yeah.
Well, I think in a sense, maybe nothing much new has been psychologically defined in terms of consciousness the last 150 years.
Yeah. All right. I'm being told my supper is getting cold. So can we give it another 2 minutes? Anybody else got contributions?
A lovely topic.
Yeah, very, very interesting. So I have done the transcript. I've emailed that to Peter, and he can send it out to us. And once again, if anybody's got further comments on this that they thought of afterwards, be interesting to hear them. Welcome to pop them on an email to Peter. If anybody thinks there's some further development of this that they'd like to discuss at another time, we'll see more of. Again, yeah. So thanks very much for your attendance. Anybody else before we sign off? Got anything else to say, Peter? Anybody else?
I would just like to say I think this is the best one we've seen, because it's going to make one go on and think about it for a very long time. I mean, one of my pet projects is sentience and consciousness, and yeah, nothing new. It's going to cause people to think. You can't make any straight statements because of this. I don't know, in terms sentience, feeling, it's different for everybody. So any of your actions is going to be personal. It's like speaking.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, one aspect, I think I've mentioned it, quantum effects within the brain. Peter, I don't know if that could be a possible sort of branch off of this, having another look at what the implications of that are, if there's anything interesting available in the media on that topic. Maybe we can have a look at that at some stage as a topic on its own.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'll see what I can find on that. Just one more
definitely
comment.
our friend Sabine, she had a thing on it. I didn't watch it, as I say. It might be interesting.
Who's that?
Sabine Hassenfelder.
Hassenfelder. Yeah, okay.
So, people like that are talking about it, so it must be significant. All right. So,
one thing I just wanted to quickly mention, John mentioned the subconscious and subconscious acts that we do. That wasn't obviously discussed, but it was very interesting. There's sitting watching David, and not so much Anil, but David uses his hands a lot when he's talking. He's waving his hands around, and I often try and think now, this is a subconscious movement, because there doesn't seem to be any relation between what he's saying and the movement of his hands. So that is obviously a subconscious thing. What causes that? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
We all do it. I mean, we all wave our hands around when we're talking.
All right. Maybe Italians more than others.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Can we wrap it up? Being chased in the background.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks very much for your attendance. Thanks very much to Peter for a very interesting topic. I thought it was fascinating. And we will see you next time. And I have recorded this discussion and will upload it to YouTube and send the link to that to Peter as well.
Yes, I'll be passing that out with the transcript. And thanks very much, Derek, for doing that. And yeah, we'll see you next time, hopefully.
All right. Cheers,
Thanks to everybody.
Okay.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.